Hi everybody, it's Varush. Welcome to my channel, and today is a special video that I'm doing without monetization or anything like that. It's for raising awareness for Indigenous rights in Canada and throughout North America. Basically, today is Thanksgiving Day in Canada, and I would like to bring more awareness to First Nations issues in Canada. I tried to make this a fundraiser, but I literally couldn't find a fundraising charity through YouTube that I could support. So I'm going to turn off notification for this video, and if you want, you can go into the link down below, and I linked for you guys a great organization called the Native Women's Association of Canada, and you can donate there even if you're in the US. So if you want to participate with me on this, then please do that. This connects to these hands you see around in the display today. Basically, there's a movement, I think it's Canadian movement, with regard to the disappearance of Indigenous women in Canada. In the 80s, there was a serial killer that was killing Indigenous women, specifically on the west coast of Canada. And their families tried to get help for their disappearances, but they allege, but because, or I think it's been formally acknowledged, I have to watch my words because of legal reasons, but they were not getting treated seriously by the authorities. And so those women kept on being murdered and disappeared, and I think it's 150 women that this happened to. The problem was much bigger because it wasn't just this one person that was doing these kinds of things. Indigenous people have been the victims of violence, abuse, appropriation, everything horrible in the world for a very long time. In fact, 150 million First Nations people had been murdered so that we could settle North America. And that fact and figure often goes unvoiced or gets sort of sugar-coated and pushed off to the side, where I actually think it's the central issue. So anyway, so today's topic is a collective reading for all, and it's for angel messages for people who are survivors. So it's not necessarily just for Indigenous people, but I hope that this brings your awareness to the issue. I hope I encourage you guys to speak up about these topics with your friends and your communities as well. And I hope that when you're celebrating Thanksgiving Day in the US, you kind of remember this as something to think about. And it's a very important thing. And support First Nations creators. And if you're a First Nations creator talking about these things, hit me up in the comments, and I'm going to put you in the description. And yeah, there's a wonderful community on TikTok. It's called Native Talk, so Native and T-O-K. And so you guys may want to check that out. They have a lot of neat content. I featured it on my Instagram stories today, so everything on my Instagram stories today is First Nations content about First Nations issues and perspectives. And yes, there's a lot of beautiful, fun jokes and positive stuff as well. The Native communities are vibrant and growing, and I support them 100%. Okay, so happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and I hope that kind of broadens your perspective if you haven't thought of it before. Okay, so that's all I have to say. So now let's just begin the reading. A hummingbird flew up to the feeder, so it must be a good sign, right? Okay, so let's see. So all the cards today are angel cards, and it's just messages for survivors. Okay, so we have first message. So we have Shatiel, the angel of silence. Okay, so right away that tells me that silences will be, there's a time for silence and a time to speak. And so silence that has been forced upon people will be lifted. These hands are actually usually painted by Indigenous women over their faces to represent the silencing of their sisters through these forms of violence and the subsequent ignoring of that truth by authorities. And so this is very special. It's saying that whatever silence has been imposed on you, you know, angels have heard, and they will be lifting that energy for you, no matter what kind of victimization or whatever happened to you, there is going to be an addressing of the issue and lifting of the energy up. Okay, so I think that's the very powerful message. There's not much to say more to that. So I have the Templar Tarot, and then we have the Five of Wands. So yeah, definitely, I think it's saying that you should be facing the stress that comes with being a survivor. There's a lot of things against you. There's a lot of things holding you down. There's a lot of gaslighting and virtue signaling by people who don't get it, who see an opportunity to exploit the narrative for their benefit and for themselves. People for whom it's inconvenient to speak about these things, and people for who act like it's inconvenient for you to speak about these things. And so the angels are saying, like, break that, break those things that are standing against you. Look at that that wand or that staff kind of broken apart at the angel's feet. So you're supposed to break through the things that are opposing you and look at what kind of narratives and discouraging messages you have internalized from others that have prevented you from speaking up. Below the surface, we have the 10 of Pentacles. That's so beautiful. It means that you have wonderful people around you who care about you a lot. And it's important for you to connect with these people, be they living or be they ancestors. Connect with the energy around you and lift you and allow that energy to be with you at this time. This is your seat of strength, your seat of compassion, and an understanding of the things you've been through. Connect with that energy with your open heart and know that those ancestors and all those people who love you want your emancipation as well. Okay, so then we have the Three of Wands. So there's good things coming in. And I got this right from this first message here, that there's positive messages coming in. There's positive support for your cause. Even though I feel as though right now you may feel as though there's a lot in your way, a lot to stop you. This has a lot to do with the Capricorn energy as well. You know, as much as we're suppressed right now by the powers that be, state governments and other things as well, there's also a rising strength coming up from people, and that is the voice. That is the ability to break through opposition, break through the things that stop us, and move forward through our voice and within our communities and feel empowered by those kind of connections. One of the major downloads I've had over the last couple weeks, because not everything happens as I'm doing a video. Some messages come through, you know, in the shower or while I sleep or wherever. And one of the main messages that has come through is that around you, there are, like, you're meant to focus on people who are giving you good energy at this time. So don't focus on the people who are kind of trying to get in your way. Break through their barriers. And if you feel as though you're alienated from an ability to affect change at this time, like it's too hard to change, those opportunities will come through for you. Here is the next message. We have the Six of Wands, and I think that this is a very important position, and it's saying that you will be victorious in seeking truth and in emancipation of yourself through whatever kind of situation you've been through, you know, as a survivor, and beating through things, that all the pressures around you that are pushing you down from being able to survive, from being able to succeed. They're not going to win. And so the energy of, you know, the angel of silence has heard your call, even if you have been quiet or you haven't spoken about it, right? So break forward. You will have opportunities coming in. There's 3 Wands cards, so that spirit is here with us. So we have the 10 of Gems, which is the same card as here. So with you, there's a lot of protection. The card is called Protection, Loyalty, and Trust. And so there's definitely a lot of support that's coming in for you. You have a lot more allies than people standing in the way. Another one of these downloads that I've been getting a lot is that the people who stand opposed to us, they're fewer in number, but they're just louder, right? And so the people, unfortunately in politics, they've used this term called the silent majority, right? which is problematic because it's been appropriated by a side that's actually in power. But the point that the silent majority is there with you, which means that there's, without the political slant to it, you have more allies and friends than you realize, and more people see it the way that you do. And then we have the Hierophant, which is Taurus, tradition. There's an appropriation image. I've never seen this in this deck. I don't think a lot of decks, if you guys don't see me use them, I find like images in them that I find problematic, but I'm not sure. Yeah, it's sorry if it offends anybody. But anyway, so let's keep going with the message. I won't use this deck anymore. But anyway, so we have the Hierophant. And maybe for you who are Indigenous, this is a message that there's ancestors coming in to help and to help on your journey. So as inappropriate as that image is, then maybe it is a sign that there's a deeper energy behind you that's working to make things right and making things happen. This is ruled by Venus, so it's the divine feminine, the matrilineal line, mothers coming down. But I sense that it's not necessarily just female or male. It's just there's spirits coming in to provide you opportunities to win in the situation you're in. And then we have the Prince of Wands, the challenger, Sag, Leo, or Aries. And that's what it is. You're breaking new ground, and that's a very hard thing to do because nobody ever has heard what you're saying, or maybe if they did, it wasn't presented in the way that you're talking. The people you're introducing this to are people who are new to the things you're saying, and so you need to sort of, in part, be prepared for being kind of like a trailblazer, and spirit is with you. I have a feeling that here it's saying that some of the people who you're close to will only hear this for the first time from you, whatever has happened in your life, whatever perspective you have taken. So be patient with them. I also did get the message that some of people who care about you will not know how to deal with it at first. So also somebody could be showing you silence. Somebody could be reacting in a way that you find difficult. And so I feel like be patient with them is the message. Sometimes, there's gears working behind the scenes, like they're thinking about things and trying to figure things out. Okay, so now we have the Blake Tarot. I literally pulled out all the angel decks that I could find, except this one. I'm so disappointed about this. But I think, let's just give attention to this because it came up in the video. I removed decks from my channel that feature exploitative and appropriating images. It's interesting that this came up because let's honor that, because I think that it's kind of a reminder that these kinds of things show up in our lives, and just how prevalent our misconceptions are about, human rights and what people go through, and just how prevalent, sorry, I don't think I can focus. Maybe I turned off autofocus. Anyway, so it just reminds us at how this kind of appropriation is everywhere, and it's important. I like this deck other than this image, and I don't think that I'll use it anymore. So you have to be prepared to self-sacrifice for the principle, like don't purchase things that are inappropriate. Don't give them your money. Support First Nations charities and causes, and whatever things you believe in, stand by them, and walk altruistically. Like, don't buy plastics. That's another thing that I stand by. Plastics is a good kind of example also because it's so convenient to use them. They're everywhere, right? But the point is that it's incredibly toxic to the environment, so it's very inconvenient for us to pull Tupperware and other things outside of our life. But once you do, then it's a hard step to take. Just like veganism, it's a hard step to take, but it's a necessary one. And so do what's best for you. Even be vegan for 3 days. That's why I say, like, maybe don't focus on taking out all plastics in your life. Maybe just for Halloween, take off the decorations. So it's all the same kind of idea, that we're surrounded by problematic things, and turning a blind eye to it as consumers perpetuates it. So literally, if we all stopped participating in it, then it would stop. So it's like any form of bullying and bad behavior. So yeah, so it's a good idea, you know, to on a personal level where nobody notices what you are doing. Just do those things, you know, eliminate as much as you can. You don't have to be vegan all the time. Be vegan 4 days a week, you know, or you don't have to take out all plastics. You can just take out Halloween decorations that are made out of plastic. And you don't have to, well, you do have to remove all this kind of stuff unless you want to look like a jerk. Okay. So, and it can come up anyway, and I'm okay with that. I'm not going to refilm the video to kind of, how do you say this? To make a point, to make myself look great. I missed it. I didn't see it. But now that I see it, you won't see it on my channel again. So anyway, that's how it works. It's not about being right. It's about making the right choice when the opportunity comes up. Okay, so we have the Four of Painting. I think that's the Four of Wands. I don't use this deck very often. And then we have the Intellect, the Ace of Science, Ace of Swords. Okay. And then we have, this is the Blake Tarot. And then we have Discipline, the Eight of Painting again. Okay. So, okay. So I think this might be Pentacles painting. So anyway, so let's see the other music. Music is water. Okay. Yeah. When they switch up and poetry, science would be swords. I don't know. Poetry would be wands. So this is discs. Four of Painting means, yeah, and Discipline for Eight of Pentacles. So I think in front of you, there's a lot of opportunities that you can take a hold of, and you're going to build your life out to so many wonderful dimensions. So don't feel like this situation and those things that you're grappling with have diminished you beyond a point of disrepair. And I think that there's going to be communication and help coming in for you to help you grow beyond the things that are stopping you. And the main thing is to break through the barriers that are wishing to hold you back and keep you in the same state of victimization, right? So yeah, break through, do your thing, learn, you know, your emancipation comes through learning what you need to learn, like doing exactly what you need to learn and learning tangible skills so that you can exemplify, keep doing with what you're learning, keep being yourself, keep refining your skills and abilities. Okay, so I have yes and no answers, and I'm going to put 3 messages down and just read them out. But if you have a pick a card kind of slant to it where you want to choose one of the cards and ask a yes and no answer, each card is going to be yes and no. Some of them are not, but okay, so 1, 2, 3, go ahead. You can pause the video now if you just want to think of a question, but I'm going to start. So number 1, we have if you believe. So this is all talking about this direction, which is the forward movement, which is your success in work. You have everything that you need to be successful, and nothing can take that away from you, okay? And now it's time for you to be victorious. It's time for you to rise, but you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in that energy. The core energy is compromise, okay? So it's like compromise, silence versus talking about things. When, you know, compromise with yourself about when you need to speak out, and sometimes you will have to speak when it's inconvenient to kind of address a narrative, you know, or address something, and sometimes you'll get to speak how you want to and in whatever way you want. So be accepting of that it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of, you know, having it your way, and a little bit coming out of your own shell to confront these things that are so inconvenient or uncomfortable to face, okay? And then the incoming energy is yes, number 3. So definitely very, very strong yes with an exclamation mark. So there's a lot of support energy around you at this time. There's a lot of energy coming in to help and support you. I get this vibe that it's ancestors. This is 10 of Pentacles is family. So you're surrounded by family, be they blood or otherwise. There's a lot there. So I also have three romance angels up here if you guys want to check out kind of protective energy around you. So your first, again, do a pick a card if you have some question about a situation. Number 1, we have engagement. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. So you are going to move towards good things, and angels are here with you to assure of that. You don't need to do anything else than what you're doing. You're doing just fine. The center card is healing family issues. Your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. I do get the vibe here that some people within your family spoke through their privilege, who didn't understand what was going on, and healing that might be a part of the compromise. I am getting that there, that people who shouldn't have said certain things or should have stood up for you or should have stood by you did not, and now it's in some way finding a path through that. Now, some people say, oh, just forgive and you'll be fine. You have a right to forgive, and you have a right to hold that forgiveness back, and you can make a decision about what's right for you and when it's right for you, and that's okay. Okay, so the next message is, this could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner you seek. So there could be someone else who's very important for you around you at this time or coming in. There's definitely an energy of something coming in as you are asserting yourself in new ways and bringing you blessings. So last 3 cards I have for the bottom, angels for below the surface. Okay, so this is the highest manifestation. I think this is also really talking about people who feel like their experience is going to hold them back from being in a relationship or having significant connections, especially on a romantic front. I think there's healing there, and there is a movement towards commitment, and I feel like energies around your angels or your spirit guides or ancestors are helping to bring that energy in for you. Okay, so if you're feeling as though, if you're feeling as though your experience has kept you from being able to have that full experience in life, they're doing everything possible to help you, and maybe in some ways forgiving your family in aspects of what they did. I'm not trying to tell you you should never tell a victim how to emancipate themselves, how to survive, how to persevere. You have a right to do that for yourself. If anybody's telling you how to do it, they're not with it. So, but maybe there is a little bit of truth to this, that in some way, if you could understand where they're coming from, at least, if not to forgive, but only to understand it, to have peace of mind, so as to find closure for that situation, then I think they're saying that would be helpful. Okay, so below the surface, 3 cards. You can do a pick a card with this as well. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. So that's below the surface. You can ask any question you want. And then we have number 1 is the eternal light of love. So light is with you. You don't have to. The message here is very much, you don't have to put in that much effort. Your number 1 point of effort is believing in yourself and taking back all the things that were said against you to hold you back or keep you silent so that you can move forward. The next message is the infinite potential. And so that connection through your family is much greater than anything that stood in your way, and you're protected. Also, the download is that it's not going to keep happening. It's an unfortunate circumstance that you've been through, and it's not going to keep happening. And you're clearing that out, and you have to believe in the fact that it's not going to keep happening. Then Prince of Wings, we have Heaven's Door. Okay, so I feel as though new opportunities and new directions, I feel like good things are coming in. There could be like a spirit with us, an angel, somebody who's recently come through, like a young angel energy that's coming through to help you on your way. I feel like and I just saw the yes sign again. So it's like a young spirit that is with you, protecting you, a very youthful spirit of innocence that wants to come through and help to push you through. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and happy Thanksgiving, you guys, but always in the context of the things we talked about today. And for everybody who's struggling, everybody who's gone through suppression, who have been victimized or are now surviving, and survivors, keep your chin up, and you're stronger than you believe, and question the things that you think against yourself, because most of them are not correct. Okay, so have a nice day. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and thank you so much. Take care. Bye. Oh, and one more thing, just remember to go into the description, check out the charity I mentioned, and think about donating to them a couple bucks. Okay, thanks so much. Bye.